Hey girlies, welcome back to my channel. Let's talk about the life lessons that I've learned throughout my 20s, specifically as a 28-year-old girl who's about to be 29 this year. I feel like these are some things that are really good to just like develop and practice throughout your 20s. The earlier the better, but of course it's never too late. So let's go ahead and get into lesson number one. Lesson number one is to take your financial freedom journey very, very seriously. Like, take it personal and take it seriously. I think that being in your 20s is the perfect time to begin the financial freedom journey. And I know a lot of 20 somethings freak out or stress about not having a certain like number, but it's not about the number. It's more so about developing the habits early to set yourself up for financial freedom in the future. Some things that I would really recommend throughout your 20s is to pay off all debt. I think it's really important to limit consumer debt, specifically like from shopping and just like endless traveling and spending way outside of your means. I think it's really important to eliminate consumer debt and just like free yourselves from having to pay back anybody. So if that means reducing the amount of buy now, pay laters or using credit cards, take your financial freedom journey seriously and your future self is going to thank you. So I'm not saying not to travel, not to shop, but just really plan accordingly so that you don't put yourself in a financial situation later. So paying off debt is definitely gonna help you do that. On top of that though, I think your 20s is the perfect time to build a solid emergency fund. So of course, like times are really challenging and hard right now just in the world, but as best as you can, I think this is a great time to start building either that starter emergency fund or like a full-on emergency fund. Whether you just have $1,000 saved or a month of expenses, or you're able to build that to a 3 to 6 month emergency fund. I think your 20s is the perfect time to do that. I think it sets you up to be a lot more comfortable and not really have to make decisions out of lack or out of fear. It really gives you choice and opportunity to be able to make the decisions that you want to make and not feel like you have to make a decision because of the financial position that you're in. So definitely build that emergency fund, whether it's a starter or a fully funded emergency fund. I also think that learning and beginning to invest is perfect to do in your 20s, preferably the earlier 20s, the better, because this gives you more time to have your money grow in the market. However, I think that people think, oh, I'm 27, I'm 28, I'm 29, I'm almost 30 and I haven't started yet, it's too late. It's never too late. Like, I think there's a quote that says like the best time to start was yesterday, but the next best time is today. Like, it's never too late to begin investing, but if you can learn and begin throughout your 20s, that is going to be so beneficial to you, and your future self is definitely going to thank you because you're putting yourself in a really good financial situation and you're going to be on your journey to financial freedom a lot earlier and sooner than later on in life. So I definitely think that being in your 20s is a perfect time to really get ahead on your financial freedom journey and not have to pay anybody back, not have to worry about just like being stressed financially. And you know, life is stressful enough, so let's not add finances on top of that. Let's just see if we can, you know, begin those habits very early. The next lesson that I learned throughout my 20s is to always be a continuous learner. So never be afraid to stop learning, never be afraid to be a beginner again. So whether you're trying a new hobby that you've never done before, maybe you're going to Pilates, maybe you're learning a new sport, maybe you're taking music lessons, like really just being a beginner again and not being afraid to learn is something that I've learned throughout my 20s. And I think that's something that is beautiful about being in your 20s is that we have time and energy and opportunity to learn about anything that we want to, like literally anything that we want to. So on top of that, I feel like reading is such a great way to be a continuous learner. Like obviously when we're in school in our early 20s and in high school and college and stuff like that, like we have to learn textbook material and all of that. But the beautiful thing about being post-grad is that you can choose what you want to read, what you want to learn. So it's like whether you're looking up a new topic that you just like never explored before, or you're picking just something to read out of like just for fun. I think your 20s is a beautiful time to really be a continuous learner and just like dabble in something new from time to time and just try new things. The world is so big. There's so many different things to try. You can try new workout classes. You can travel somewhere new. You can learn about literally any and everything, especially with the phones at our fingertips. So your 20s is just such a beautiful time to be able to be a continuous learner. The next thing that I learned throughout my 20s is to really build genuine friendships. I have like my bestie. We're locked in like this since we met like over 10 years ago, freshman year of college. I also have some friends that I met during grad school that are like this. We're locked in, but it is so important to have friends that build you, that support you, that are there for you when you need them, and that you also are there for them and can return that to them. And it's so important to just have genuine friends who want to see you win, friends that are not in competition with you secretly, like friends that just speak positivity into you and build you up rather than friends who don't do that, because those are not friends. And in our early 20s or high school or whatever, we meet friends just out of like proximity, being in the same school, being in the same town, like stuff like that. But as you get older and throughout your 20s, you you have the opportunity to like seek new friendships, build new friendships, and just like nurture them as well. So definitely recommend building genuine friendships. Just a reminder as well, if you want a village, you also have to be a villager. So pour into your friendships as well, but only pour into the ones that are also pouring back into you, because a big lesson throughout my 20s is to not spend time on people who wouldn't spend that same amount of time for you, energy-wise, time-wise, all of the above. So definitely building genuine friendships is something to have in your 20s. It's better to have a few close friends than a big group of, you know, acquaintances, I would say. The next lesson that I learned throughout my 20s is to build or find a community where you belong, a community where you can always go to, that's routine, that you see consistently, that, yeah, again, you're just a part of. So whether that's like a coaching community, or maybe you go to a Pilates studio and that's like the community that you build there. Maybe you have a church community that you love seeing every single week. Whatever that may look like for you, I definitely recommend having a community and feeling like you belong somewhere. Or you could even join a run club, girl, like whatever it is, just somewhere where you feel like you belong, somewhere that you can go to consistently, that makes you feel like you're out and about, you're doing something, you're meant to be somewhere, and you're involved in something. Community is so important. And again, I feel like before our 20s and even in college, we have built-in communities, but the older you get, sometimes the more isolating or lonely it can get. So making sure that you're part of some sort of community where you are, you know, accepted and you're being almost like they want you there or they're expecting you to be there. That is just an amazing feeling, having somewhere that you can go throughout your 20s or just like at any point in life, to be honest. The next lesson that I learned throughout my 20s is to really appreciate the small things in life. This is something that I'm really big on right now, especially being 27, 28, 29. Like, there is nothing better than a nice slow morning, a morning coffee made at home, a nice walk in the neighborhood, like really just appreciating the small moments of life and building that practice of gratitude in everyday moments. Not every single day is going to be super exciting. Not every single day are you going to be on vacation or going here, going there. You have to find gratitude in every single day. And this can be really hard because it's easy to look around and be like, oh, I don't have this, I don't have that, or I can't wait to do this, I can't wait to do that. But like, if you can learn to find gratitude in the small things and really celebrate those, I think that really brings true happiness. I don't even know, like, make your iced coffee or your matcha at home and just like romanticize that process. Invest in a nice coffee machine if that's what makes you happy. Go for walks and really just like take in nature and love your surroundings. Make your home feel how you want it to feel, because that's going to help you just like feel gratitude for the time that you're in. Really appreciate and build gratitude for the small moments of life. And that is definitely something to practice throughout your 20s, because when all the distractions go away and you're no longer in college or you're no longer in certain environments that you always used to be in, you're gonna need to learn how just to be thankful and grateful for the place that you are. And then my last lesson that I really appreciate throughout my 20s is to just really maintaining your physical and your mental health. And this can look like so many different things. Making sure that you stay active and exercise regularly so that your body is healthy, your heart is healthy. And you know, we really have to be intentional about the amount of exercise and time that we're putting into our physical health, because the older that we get throughout our 20s and our 30s, 40s and beyond, like, it's going to be really important that we start these healthy habits young. Same thing for your mental health. Really prioritize your mental well-being. So again, if it's people that no longer serve you, a job that no longer serves you, an environment that no longer serves you, or a relationship that no longer serves you, you've got to slowly let those things go. We have to really prioritize our mental health, because if you're not mentally doing okay, then everything else is going to be kind of like a snowball effect. It's so important to just prioritize your mental health. So whether that's seeking therapy or building a solid support system, whatever that looks like for you, really focus on maintaining your mental well-being, your mental health, so that you can live a physical and mentally well life. Okay, so those are the lessons that I've learned throughout my 20s. I have so many lessons that I've learned, but these are just like the ones that I can pick from today. And I would love to continue this if this is helpful for someone out there. But your 20s are such a beautiful time. I love being in my 20s. Like, I have one more year in my 20s once I turn 29 later this year. And I'm just like, I am just so thankful for the experiences that I've had in my 20s. It's such an amazing time in life. But I think that these tips will make your 20s even better. And I think something that's really important to go back to is that it's never too late. I don't want anyone to feel like, oh no, I'm 25 and I don't have this. I'm almost 30 and I don't have that. Like, it's okay. Like, these are just things that are helpful, but it's never too late. Like, if you don't have it by a certain time, do not like put shame or guilt onto yourself, because life is life and everybody has a different timeline, truthfully. So it's good to just be aware of these things and to start building them in your 20s, but give yourself grace if you're not fully there yet. And girl, you're gonna get there eventually, so it's gonna be okay. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful. Let me know if you guys would like to learn or hear more tips or lessons that I've learned throughout my 20s, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.